Hi, okay, so this is the second part when it comes to getting your first credit card. So, in this episode, we are covering the mistakes that you should try and avoid in your credit card journey, right? So, the first point is not understanding the difference between straight and budget. So, every credit card facility has the straight and budget option, right? So, straight meaning that you are going to pay it before the 55 days. So usually when you go to like shops and you're purchasing whatever you want to purchase, they'll usually ask you, do you want to have this purchase for a straight or budget? So know the difference between straight and budget. So budget, you're paying it after the 55 days that you're already allocated, or the grace period. So if you want to pay it in 9 months, obviously 9 months is not the 55 days, so you go for the budget option, right? So but it's very important to understand the difference between the two. If you're taking out your credit card for the first time but you already have a credit history, you can actually negotiate your credit rate, right, or your interest rate. So you need to understand that a healthy credit score can actually negotiate any type of credit rate or interest rate whenever you're taking a new credit facility, right? So you should understand that you do have the power to do that. So if a bank is offering you, let's just say 15%, but you already have a credit score that is very healthy and a credit history that is very good, you can actually say that no, I think I can actually get like 10%. Okay, but you need to show it to them that okay, I know my credit score is good, my credit history is good, and I know that like other banks can offer me like a way better interest rate than you're currently offering me. So no, I'm not gonna go with your deal unless you actually reduce the interest rate. Another thing is to use your credit card without setting like a budget or a limit to it. So you should, as you know, you have your credit limit, but then that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about every month, if maybe you're using 5k on it, why are you actually using that 5k, right? Because you either have to use it for emergencies or for planned purchases that are beyond the scope of your salary, right? So you must set out that limit to say that, okay, I'm using it for additional groceries because of whatever reason, or I'm using it to buy a TV and my max amount that I'll be using it for the TV is 10k. So you've already set out like a budget for your credit card purchases for that month or even for the year. So you should try and set out those limits for yourself. Okay, so another thing is forgetting to pay, right? So you need to be wary of that. And obviously it'll affect your credit history and credit score badly if you keep on missing these payments, and especially when it comes to you forgetting that you need to pay, not necessarily that you're not a good debt. Another thing is do not use it for black tax purposes. Yes. So like whenever you feel like your family needs a TV or needs a couch or needs whatever, I don't think a credit card facility should be for that, but that is just my opinion. And the reason being that you usually have to pay interest on these things. So I always advise, yeah, I know I'm not like a financial advisor, but I always say that, okay, whenever it comes to black tax, try, and especially for these consumer items, try to actually save up or help your family to save up that amount so that you always buy things cash and not on credit, because the interest that you're going to be paying is obviously just a bit too much, especially for black tax purposes, right? And being conned or whatever it is that might be happening with that black tax arrangement. And so if you're interested to learn more about what I think about black tax, I'll link the video up here. I have a video where we look into the definition as well as how to embrace black tax. So I hope you enjoy that video. If you keep on having a good credit history and credit score, you can always negotiate your interest down, even if initially you're given a certain interest rate, right? So the seventh lesson, or the seventh thing that you need to keep to be aware of, is that don't open it just for the purpose of having it. You must have a valid reason as to why you need it. So another, like one of the reasons that I have a credit card is that I will use it as an emergency fund if needs be, so that I can be able to save money in a savings account that will yield higher returns, right? So usually savings account that will yield higher returns will be like your fixed accounts, right? So you won't have easy access or the liquidity that you need from those type of accounts unless you're using accounts that allow you to have the access and you're still getting like a very high rate. But usually when you're just starting out and the amount that you are putting into a savings account is not that high, one of the ways to get higher returns is to put it in a fixed account or an account that doesn't give you the liquidity that you need, right? So that's what I'm using my credit card for. And another thing is, at this point in time, I will try to use it for like my assets, right? So as you can see, I'm on YouTube and I need like equipment, like your lighting, your cameras and stuff. I'm currently using my phone. So the credit card does allow me to buy those things and pay them off in a period that is actually not burdening, like in terms of my financial journey, where I feel like, oh, I don't have like 12K for a camera and whatever. So it'll help me in that. So you have to have a purpose before you take out any type of credit facility. It's not just for credit card, but since we're talking all things credit card, and credit card is a consumer debt, and it's not that essential to have one unless you really have a reason to have one, right? So yeah, I think those are the 7 points that I wanted to mention. And please comment down below of any mistakes that you have had in the past, as well as anything that you'd like to advise anyone that is starting out in their credit card journey, to say, okay, these are the things that worked for me, and this is how I ensure that I have the right interest rate, or I don't pay interest rate, or I use it for the right purpose, right? So thank you very much for joining today's episode. If you're still here and you haven't subscribed, what do you do? Like, seriously, please subscribe and join the family, and let's learn from one another. So I hope you're having a nice lockdown. I just had to.